Imagine this, a brand new cryptocurrency. But it's not launching from, some tech startup in a garage somewhere.
Right.
No, this is coming from one of the most famous political families in the world. And it doesn't just launch, bam, instantly valued at a staggering $30 billion. I mean, that just happened. And it's sending these, seismic shockwaves through finance, through politics. Everyone's paying attention now.
Yeah, you can't really ignore it.
Welcome, welcome, welcome back to The Deep Dive. I'm your host, and I am, incredibly excited to jump headfirst into another one of these fascinating topics. This one's really reshaping how we think about finance, politics, technology, the whole mix.
I'm here to help us, try and make sense of it all, connect the dots, provide some of that crucial context. Because this truly is an unprecedented moment. It's like a collision, right? Between these two massive forces, high-stakes politics, and the volatile, innovative world of crypto. They've just converged in a way we've basically never seen before.
Yeah.
The scale, the significance, you really can't overstate it.
That's a really powerful way to put it. So, today we're embarking on a deep dive into the debut of the Trump family's World Liberty Financial Token, WLFI.
WLFI, yeah.
We're talking about something that just hit the market, and, it immediately demanded attention. Not just from crypto people.
No, definitely not.
But from mainstream media, seasoned financial analysts, political commentators, across the board. It's a story just packed with implications.
And our mission today, really, is to thoroughly unpack this groundbreaking development. We're going to try and meticulously synthesize all the diverse information out there, market data, political takes, everything.
Right.
And understand not just what happened with WLFI's launch, but maybe more critically, why it matters. And it matters on so many levels. We'll explore its immediate impact, the underlying dynamics for investors and traders, what they need to be thinking about right now, and then the broader, farther-reaching implications for Web3, for politics, for regulation.
Yeah, the whole ecosystem.
Exactly. Our goal is to empower you, the listener, to be truly well-informed on this, to grasp the nuances, and maybe start asking the right questions about what this means for the future of digital assets and their intersection with political power.
I see.
With brand influence.
Precisely. We want to give you that shortcut to being well-informed with, surprising facts and just enough maybe humor to keep you hooked.
Hopefully.
And speaking of being hooked and staying informed, before we dive even deeper into this, just a quick reminder, make sure you show your support for the channel.
Yeah, it really helps.
Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely hit that notification bell. Your engagement, your comments, your shares, it genuinely helps the channel grow.
It really does. It helps with, the algorithms and visibility.
Exactly. It boosts our visibility in those ever-complex algorithms, and it lets us keep making this type of quality content for you, bringing you these deep dives into fascinating new topics.
So your participation, it matters. It helps us keep exploring these complex, exciting subjects.
It really does. Okay, with that said, let's get right into it. All right, let's kick things off with the headline, the one that just shocked the system, sent ripples across financial markets everywhere. WLFI's entry onto exchanges.
Yeah, that initial moment.
This wasn't some quiet little launch. It was, like you said, a cannonball splash. It just redefined what an initial crypto offering could even look like. So the Trump family's World Liberty Financial Token, WLFI, it's officially trading, and you have to hear this again because it almost sounds unreal. It debuted with a valuation north of $30 billion.
$30 billion.
That's not just big. That's colossal. For a new token right out of the gate. I mean, what does that even mean in the crypto world to have that kind of valuation from day one before there's any demonstrable utility?
Well, that's the heart of it, isn't it? A $30 billion plus debut is not just a number on a screen. It explicitly shows this level of massive speculative demand that, for a politically aligned token, it's truly unprecedented.
Right.
And to understand it, we need to look at the sort of mechanics behind it. How much of that valuation is based on maybe initial private sales?
Yeah.
Attracting big institutional money or large individual investors. We're now looking at huge paper gains.
Okay.
And how much is from immediate public market activity? Retail investors jumping in. A token, essentially, with no established utility on day one. Commanding that kind of price. It really highlights the immense, almost gravitational power of brand.
Yeah.
of narrative over, the traditional metrics we usually look at, like tech innovation or a proven user base.
So it's not like that organic growth you see with a tech startup that gains traction slowly over time. This sounds more like, I don't know, a born-rich crypto asset maybe?
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. It's kind of like a super IPO in the traditional stock market sense. But this one's driven by this unique blend. You've got ideological alignment, a really fervent supporter base, and that powerful psychological effect of FOMO, the fear of missing out that, only such a prominent political figure could probably inspire in the market on this scale.
Right.
And what's truly fascinating here is the immediate, undeniable legitimacy this launch brings to the crypto space, just from a mainstream political perspective.
Well, how so?
Well, when a token debuts with a market cap over $30 billion, it's not just a statistic, right? It immediately places WLFI among the largest crypto assets globally by market cap.
Wow.
And just to put that into perspective for you listening, this debut valuation instantly puts WLFI in the same league as established giants. Players that have taken years, sometimes a decade, to build their communities, their ecosystems.
Like who?
We're talking names like Solana, Cardano, XRP, major players.
Okay, yeah. Big names.
So this isn't just a political family dipping their toes in the water. They've essentially launched a whale into the crypto pond.
Yeah.
And it is making enormous waves right from the start.
Wow, that comparison really drives it home. It's not some small altcoin we're talking about. It's a major player from minute one. But how? How could this possibly happen?
Yeah, that's the big question.
How does a brand new token from a political family instantly get a valuation that took these other major cryptos years, maybe a decade, of hard development, community building? How? It feels almost unreal.
It really speaks to this powerful confluence of forces, some of which are pretty new to the crypto landscape, actually.
Okay.
The first, and maybe the most obvious one, is that political and crypto cross over itself. This isn't just any famous family.
Right.
It's one of the most famous political families in the world launching a token. And that act, whether they intended it this way or not, it significantly legitimizes crypto in the mainstream political and financial conversation. It signals that, hey, digital assets, they're not just a niche tech thing anymore for early adopters. They are a significant, tangible financial instrument. And a political one. They demand attention. It basically bridges these worlds that used to be seen as quite separate. It forces traditional institutions, maybe even rival political groups, to acknowledge the growing influence and, the potential of Web3.
So it's almost like a shortcut to credibility for crypto itself, just because of the massive brand power involved. It's not about the tech. Initially, anyway, it's all about the name.
Interesting. Yeah, and that leads directly into the valuation shock we're seeing. Like we said, $30 billion plus. It's not just a number. It explicitly shows this level of massive speculative demand that, again, for politically tied token is just unprecedented. Now, the nature of this demand, it's complex. It's multifaceted. Yeah. Is it purely ideological? Driven by supporters who want to financially back a movement or align with a political identity? Or is it purely financial? Opportunistic traders, investors seeing a huge chance for quick gains because of all the hype, the media attention that's inevitable.
Right, the buzz.
Or, and this is probably the most likely scenario, is it this potent, highly volatile blend of both? And that dual appeal, it just supercharges the speculative demand. It pulls in capital from all these different motivations that typically wouldn't all land on the same asset.
That's a really crucial distinction. It's not just about what the token does technically, but what it represents politically, socially.
Exactly. And that brings us to its narrative power, which, as you know, is often a dominant force in crypto.
Yeah, story matters.
It really does. WLFI could potentially evolve into both things at once. Yeah. A powerful political meme coin and a legitimate financial product.
Okay, explain that duality.
Well, the meme coin aspect comes from its immediate recognition, its ability to build community around a shared identity or political affiliation. Kind of like Dogecoin or Shiba Inu did initially, right?
Right, the community aspect.
But the financial product side, that depends heavily on its future execution. Can it actually develop real, tangible utility beyond just being a symbol?
Like what?
Can it integrate into broader financial systems? Can it be used for payments? Stuff like that. And this dual potential, it really amplifies its immediate impact. It creates this highly intriguing, though let's be clear, inherently speculative asset. It positions WLFI to appeal to a really broad spectrum of people, from, dedicated political followers who see it as maybe digital merchandise or a way to show support, all the way to sophisticated financial investors looking for those big asymmetric returns. This narrative power lets it keep momentum even without traditional fundamentals, at least, in the short term.
That makes perfect sense for how it could command such a valuation right away. But maybe an even more fascinating piece of this is who is being drawn in?
Ah, yes.
The demographics.
Because of that huge brand recognition we talked about, WLFI isn't just attracting the usual crypto crowd, is it? It seems uniquely positioned to pull in these significant waves of people who aren't crypto native.
Which could fundamentally change the market's dynamics. I mean, think about it. How many people who've never touched crypto before, never downloaded a wallet, don't know what a private key is?
Right.
How many might be drawn in just by a name they know so well from the headlines? What does that do to the market? It feels like it could be a whole new ball game, introducing totally new risk profiles, new behaviors.
You're absolutely right. It significantly shifts the dynamic of the typical crypto market. That immense brand recognition makes WLFI feel accessible, intriguing maybe, to a much broader public who might otherwise never engage with crypto.
Yeah.
So you're not just getting existing crypto enthusiasts or tech-savvy folks. You're potentially onboarding entirely new demographics, maybe older investors, more traditional ones, or just individuals whose main interest is political affiliation, not the tech. And this influx of retail investors who are often, let's face it, less familiar with crypto's volatility.
Right, the wild swings.
Or its technical complexities, or just the speculative nature of many of these assets, it can lead to exponential growth, sure.
Yeah.
Rapid price pumps driven purely by sentiment, by social media buzz, but it also creates a market that's far more susceptible to emotional trading.
Yeah.
Rapid shifts based on news cycles. And potentially, greater vulnerability to big market movements or even manipulation. It introduces a level of unpredictability that even seasoned crypto traders might find challenging.
That's a powerful point about the new demographics, both explosive growth potential and heightened risk. It really is a double-edged sword, isn't it?
It is.
On one hand, massive adoption, huge market cap. On the other, maybe less informed decision-making, more market instability. So let me ask you maybe more personally. Would you invest in a token tied so directly to a political family? Or would you steer clear because of those inherent risks that come with mixing finance and politics like this?
A fascinating question for everyone listening right now, to think about for their own portfolio, their own risk tolerance. It truly is a question that needs careful thought. Factoring in your individual risk appetite, your understanding of the market. But for those who are active in crypto, especially traders, they should absolutely anticipate high volatility with WLFI.
Okay.
This isn't just guessing. It's kind of baked into the nature of such a high-profile, politically charged asset. And there are several key factors contributing to this expected volatility. Understanding them is crucial.
Like what?
First, you've got token unlocks. These are basically scheduled releases of previously locked tokens, often given to founders, early investors, the project team.
Right, vesting schedules.
Exactly. Vesting schedules. Sometimes there's a cliff period, where nothing gets released for months, then linear releases over years. The idea is usually to align incentives, prevent an immediate dump by insiders.
Makes sense.
But when these big batches of tokens do unlock, they dramatically increase the circulating supply. And if those recipients, especially the big early investors, the whales, decide to sell even a fraction, it can flood the market with supply, creates significant downward pressure on the price, often triggers panic or rapid sell-offs among the less experienced retail folks. So understanding WLFI's specific unlock schedule, that's going to be critical for predicting potential volatility points.
So it's like this huge wave of supply hitting the market that wasn't there before, and that can really shake things up.
Precisely. Another critical factor, exchange listings. While WLFI has debuted, getting listed on more major exchanges that can create huge liquidity boosts, price surges as more people get access.
Right, more visibility.
But the flip side, these listings can also lead to dumping. If early investors or whales decide to cash out right after the listing hype, selling into that new demand.
Okay, sell the news kind of thing.
Exactly. And speaking of whales, their activity is the third major factor. These large holders, their movements can significantly sway the market. A single large buy or sell order from a whale can create ripples, maybe even tidal waves across the order books, leading to rapid price fluctuations that are tough for smaller investors to react to quickly. So for experienced traders, all these factors create constant opportunities, right? Short-term trades, managing positions to capitalize on swings.
The playground, like you said.
But for newcomers or less experienced investors, These same factors represent considerable risk, maybe even catastrophic risk, if they're not understood and managed properly. You need a clear strategy, clear risk parameters.
It definitely sounds like a trader's playground, but yeah, a potential minefield for the uninitiated. Which brings us to a really central question, I think. One that every token, especially one launching this big, this fast, has to face. Can WLFI sustain its valuation, its relevance, beyond just the initial speculative hype? Or is it just going to be another flash in the pan, a temporary thing fueled only by brand power?
This raises that crucial question, doesn't it? The one that defines the long-term viability of any digital asset. So many tokens launch with incredible hype, impressive valuations.
We've seen it time and time again.
Exactly. But the true test is always, can they build real, tangible utility? Something that justifies and maintains that value over time.
Right. What does utility look like here?
Well, can WLFI establish genuine utility in decentralized finance, in DeFi? That would mean integrating into lending protocols, borrowing, trading platforms, becoming like a fundamental building block in that ecosystem.
Okay.
Or could it become a viable option for payments, offering a faster, cheaper, maybe more accessible way to transact for goods and services than traditional methods? Or, as you mentioned earlier, could it evolve into a governance token, giving holders actual voting rights in a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization?
Explain DAO again quickly.
Sure. A DAO is basically an organization run by code, managed by its community. So decisions about the token's future technical upgrades, how the treasury funds are used, new partnerships they're made by the community through transparent voting, not by some centralized company structure.
Okay, so true decentralization potential there.
Exactly. It offers a path to that. A significant leap, potentially, from its initial brand-driven launch. But without a clear, compelling, and actually executed path to utility in one or more of these areas, its value will likely stay primarily tied to the brand, to the narrative.
Which means
it's inherently vulnerable to shifts in political sentiment, public opinion, or just general market enthusiasm cooling off.
So it's about moving from being mostly a symbol to actually being a tool. That sounds like a huge leap for any crypto project, let alone one born from this kind of brand recognition. How feasible is that leap, realistically?
Yeah, it's precisely the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
The feasibility really depends heavily on the development team's ability to pivot.
Yeah.
To go from a brand-first strategy to a utility-first one.
Right.
It requires serious investment in technology, building a community that goes beyond just political affiliation, forging strategic partnerships within the crypto world.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, but it demands a very different kind of execution than what drove its initial value spike.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit then. Beyond the immediate market stuff, let's talk about the broader implications for Web3, for the whole crypto ecosystem.
Yeah, the ripple effects.
Because WLFI's launch, it doesn't just feel like it's about this one token. It feels like it's setting a precedent. Maybe fundamentally changing how future digital assets come into being. What does this mean for the rise of, I don't know, megatokens? Is that a thing?
It could become a thing, yeah. This launch absolutely sets a significant precedent. Its effects will be felt across the industry, no doubt. It suggests that, yes, other political figures, or maybe major celebrities, could potentially launch their own megatokens at similarly high valuations.
How?
By leveraging their existing brand recognition, their fervent fan bases, rather than relying solely on, say, groundbreaking tech or years of organic community building. So what does this mean for the future of crypto launches? It's profound. Are we going to see an increasing trend of these brand-first tokens? Tokens that challenge the traditional crypto development model. You know, the one that prioritizes utility, open source code, decentralized community building from the start.
Yeah.
It could potentially usher in an era where market entry, initial valuations, are dominated by those who already have huge public platforms, mass media visibility. Not just the tech wizards or the ones with a compelling white paper.
Right.
And that could, arguably, centralize power around established brands, potentially diluting that original decentralized ethos of Web3.
That's a fascinating thought, and maybe a bit concerning if you really value that decentralized ethos. So if WLFI does succeed, if it maintains that high valuation and actually grows into something with real utility.
Big if.
Big if, yeah. But if it does, which celebrity or politician do you think has the kind of brand power, the following, to launch the next billion-dollar token? It really makes you think about the future of celebrity endorsement, but like on a whole new level. Decentralized, directly financialized.
It forces a complete reevaluation, doesn't it, of how value is created and perceived in this space, shifting the emphasis maybe from code to charisma.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, a high-profile launch like WLFI could also dramatically accelerate the pace of crypto regulation globally.
Regulation, always the big question.
Well, the direct involvement of prominent political figures with a crypto asset, it instantly raises these complex compliance questions, ethical debates that regulators just cannot ignore, regardless of what they thought about crypto before.
So it's almost like a siren call to the regulators, like, hey, you can't ignore us anymore. You have to deal with us now.
Pretty much, yeah.
But let's be pragmatic. Regulation usually moves slowly, glacially sometimes.
Often, yes.
What specific, immediate kind of regulatory actions or investigations do you realistically see coming out of this? And how prepared are our existing legal frameworks, like, the how we test for securities? How does that grapple with an asset tied so explicitly to political influence, not just an expectation of profit from some common enterprise?
That's a crucial distinction and, yeah, significant challenge for existing frameworks. Yeah. Immediately. We could see intense pressure on agencies like the SEC here in the U.S. or similar bodies elsewhere to provide clarity. Is WLFI a security?
Yeah.
A commodity? Something totally new?
Yeah.
Especially given those political ties.
Okay.
But beyond that basic classification, expect intense scrutiny on things like campaign finance laws. Could buying WLFI be seen, even indirectly, as a political donation? How would that be disclosed? Regulated?
Tricky.
Very. Also, anti-money laundering, AML, and know your customer KYC regulations, they'll likely intensify, not just for WLFI itself, but for any platform trading it. The optics of large amounts of money flowing into a politically linked asset, that's going to be under a huge microscope. This isn't just about market stability anymore. It's about the perceived integrity of political processes, preventing potential conflicts of interest. So that usual slowness of regulation, it might actually get overcome here just by the sheer political profile of this launch.
That makes a lot of sense. It paints a picture of potentially intense legislative, maybe even judicial activity down the road. And finally, beyond regulation, there's the broader narrative implications for the whole Web3 space.
Right.
You mentioned WLFI could be this critical test case, triggering a broader narrative shift.
Yeah.
Maybe a meme coin transforming into a real financial asset.
Indeed. It's kind of the ultimate dream for many of these community-driven assets, right? The ones often based on humor or politics. To move beyond just speculation and build serious financial infrastructure, real utility.
Yeah.
The challenge, though, lies in actually building that utility, fostering widespread adoption beyond just the initial fan base, developing a robust ecosystem that supports its claims as being a foundational asset.
Not easy.
Not easy at all. It requires significant, continuous development effort, strategic partnerships with established financial or tech players, and critically, overcoming the skepticism that often surrounds assets that started out looking like pure hype or politically motivated projects.
Right.
But if WLFI truly achieves widespread adoption, develops tangible utility, it could fundamentally alter how the market views the potential path for other meme assets. It could validate that pathway from narrative to core financial instrument. But again, it's a huge if, and that journey will be filled with challenges. Many have tried and many have failed before.
This is truly a groundbreaking moment, no doubt. But like you said, it's not entirely without precedent when you look at the underlying forces, specifically that incredible power of brand, of personality.
Context is key here.
So let's try and contextualize WLFI a bit. Look at some supporting stories, some comparisons.
Yeah.
Because here's where it gets really interesting. We have seen this dynamic play out before. The power of a personality or a deeply rooted brand rallying a community around a digital asset. Take Donald Trump's NFT collections, for example. Those weren't just like a little side project or a digital gimmick.
No, they were significant.
They raised millions of dollars, clearly demonstrating there was strong, loyal demand from his base for digital assets tied specifically to his brand.
Right.
So that provides this direct, tangible lineage for WLFI's immediate appeal, doesn't it? It shows there's an existing audience, engaged, financially willing, ready for this kind of digital asset, maybe even eager to deepen that connection through something more like a direct financial instrument.
That's an excellent point. It highlights that pre-existing digital engagement. It's not just general celebrity appeal. It's a specific, highly engaged audience that's already shown they're willing to invest, emotionally or financially, in digital products tied to that brand.
Yeah.
The success of those NFTs wasn't just about the digital art itself. It was about the identity, the community that formed around it. It set a kind of psychological anchor for future digital stuff like this.
Exactly. And another strong comparison, one that comes up a lot with meme coins, is Dogecoin and Elon Musk. Right?
Yes, the Doge father effect.
Right. Dogecoin famously started as a joke, a literal meme coin with almost no initial utility, no serious backing.
Just a fork of Litecoin with a dog on it.
Pretty much. Yet it achieved this significant staying power, massive cultural relevance, largely thanks to Elon Musk's outspoken support. His frequent, often kind of whimsical tweets about it, his engagement transformed it from a niche novelty into this mainstream phenomenon. It just demonstrated how a single, highly influential figure can shape a token's narrative, dramatically impact its market performance.
Yeah, bump for price.
And even lend it this perceived legitimacy, encouraging actual development, adoption just through association. It shows that blueprint. How brand or personality can elevate a token way beyond its technical merits alone.
Absolutely. So the Trump NFTs, Dogecoin's run with Musk, they're not just isolated incidents. They show a clear pattern that WLFI is now building upon.
Exactly, but arguably on a scale that's unprecedented with that initial multi-billion-dollar valuation right at launch.
Right, the starting point is much higher.
However, with great hype often comes controversy. And sometimes, tragically, mismanagement. The digital asset space has definitely seen its share of cautionary tales.
Indeed. And these cautionary tales are absolutely critical for understanding the potential risks here. We've seen tokens launch with immense global hype, huge controversy, often centered around that mix of identity plus brand tokenomics. Kind of WLFI's blend of political identity and financial asset.
Like what? Any examples?
Well, think about WorldCoin. It launched with this innovative but highly debated approach to identity verification using iris scans.
Oh yeah, the orb.
The orb, exactly. Tied directly to its token distribution model, it just illustrates how rapidly a token can shake markets, ignite public debate, when it combines innovative concepts, sometimes polarizing ones, with a strong, often polarizing brand. The public conversation around WorldCoin focused just as much on the ethical implications, the data privacy concerns, as it did on its tech aspirations. Much like WLFI is going to face debates not just on financial viability, but on its political and ethical dimensions too.
And it's crucial to remember that this intersection, hype, politics, finance, it can be incredibly volatile.
Yeah.
It can lead to catastrophic outcomes if it's not handled with extreme care.
This raises that important question investors always need to keep in mind. While brand power can drive immense value, the FTX collapse, that serves as a powerful, painful, cautionary tale.
Yeah, still fresh for many.
It's a stark reminder of how quickly hype, combined with significant political connections, celebrity endorsements, and ultimately alleged poor management and a lack of transparency, how quickly that can sour and lead to catastrophic outcomes for millions of people.
Right.
FTX, at its peak, was heavily involved in mainstream political lobbying, making huge donations using high-profile celebrities.
Yeah, the Super Bowl ads.
Exactly. Its rapid demise due to alleged fraud and mismanagement just underscored the inherent risks when strong brands or political figures enter this, unregulated or less regulated crypto space without absolute transparency, without robust corporate governance, without ethical financial practices.
So the lesson is?
The lesson is abundantly clear. Brand strength. It can attract capital, attract attention on an unparalleled scale. But it cannot, and it will not, substitute for sound fundamentals, diligent oversight, unwavering integrity. And WLFI, just by its very nature, its high profile, its political ties, it's going to operate under similar intense scrutiny regarding its governance and financial management. Or at least it should.
It's a stark reminder, yeah. The fundamentals of trust, sound financial practice, they still matter, no matter how powerful the brand is. Which also brings us to another angle, how leadership identity itself becomes so tightly linked to crypto asset narratives.
Right.
Shaping not just the asset, but the perception of a whole company, maybe even a movement.
Yes. Consider MicroStrategy's Bitcoin play. That's a slightly different example, but equally illustrative, I think, of leadership identity shaping a crypto narrative.
Oh, so?
Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, he became completely inextricably linked to this strong Bitcoin acquisition strategy for his publicly traded company.
Right. They bought billions worth.
Exactly. His outspoken advocacy for Bitcoin, his really eloquent, often fervent explanations of its value proposition. Yeah. It wasn't just a corporate financial decision. It became his personal brand, and it significantly shaped a particular corporate crypto narrative.
Okay.
Saylor's conviction His vocal support, it gave many traditional investors a degree of confidence in Bitcoin they might not have had otherwise. He effectively bridged that gap, for some, between conservative corporate finance and the volatile crypto world. Now, that's a different flavor of brand influence compared to a celebrity or politician directly launching their own token.
Sure.
But it profoundly illustrates how the identity of leadership, whether it's political, corporate, even ideological, can influence the perception, the adoption, and ultimately the whole trajectory of a crypto asset. It shows the power of having a credible, vocal champion.
This has been a whirlwind of a deep dive, truly. And it's clear that WLFI is going to be just a fascinating, maybe unprecedented case study for years to come.
Absolutely. We'll be watching closely.
So for anyone tracking this space, trying to make sense of how it's all evolving, what are the key analytical angles, the future monitoring points we should really be focusing on to understand its trajectory?
Right. So what does this all mean for someone actively tracking this space? It means we have this fascinating real-time experiment unfolding right in front of us.
Yeah.
And there are specific metrics, specific events we need to observe really closely. First, we need to continuously monitor WLFI's performance against the other top 10 market cap coins.
Okay. Relative performance.
Exactly. Comparing its debut valuation and then its sustained market cap to established players like Solana, XRP, ADA, maybe even DOGE. That will give us a real sense of whether it's truly holding its ground in that top tier or if the initial surge was just, speculative froth.
Right.
We need to track its market position, not just in dollars, but its relative rank within the whole crypto ecosystem. Does it climb? Does it fall? Its ranking tells a powerful story about its perceived strength, investor confidence relative to its peers.
So it's not just the absolute number, like you said, but its place in the pecking order, its staying power relative to others.
Precisely. Its position within that top tier signifies a certain level of, let's say, institutional recognition and ongoing investor confidence. Next, we'll be watching exchange listing volume very closely.
Right. Okay.
Tracking where WLFI is being traded, not just that it's traded, but where and how much and its daily turnover across different exchanges.
Yeah.
That provides crucial insights into its liquidity, its market depth, its overall market activity.
What are you looking for there?
Well, high volume across multiple reputable centralized exchanges, think Coinbase, Binance, and maybe decentralized exchanges too, that indicates robust trading interest, broad accessibility.
Makes sense.
Conversely, if you see low volume or volume concentrated only on a few smaller, less liquid exchanges, that could signal concerns about its long-term viability, potential for price volatility because of thin order books, maybe even susceptibility to manipulation. It tells us about its reach, the breadth of its market.
And how about the actual distribution? Like, who owns the tokens? How spread out is it?
Oh, absolutely critical. For assessing long-term health, decentralization, on-chain holder distribution analysis is key.
Okay.
We need to analyze the concentration of tokens among those whales, the big individual or institutional holders, versus the distribution among the broader base of retail investors.
Why does that matter so much?
Well, a highly centralized distribution, where just a few wallets hold most of the supply, that can indicate a higher potential for market manipulation. Whales can significantly impact the price with big buy or sell orders.
Right.
On the other hand, a more decentralized distribution, spread across a broad base of retail holders, that often suggests a healthier, more community-driven asset, less prone to single entity control.
How do you track that?
We'll be using publicly available tools like block explorers and potentially dedicated analytics platforms, maybe like Nansen or Glassnode dashboards, assuming they add support for WLFI. These tools help track those metrics in real time. It provides transparency into who holds the power in the network.
And beyond those sort of internal on-chain metrics, we absolutely have to keep considering the external landscape, right? Especially since this token is so deeply tied to politics, current events.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Event-driven analysis is going to be paramount here. We need to watch that token unlock schedule very closely.
I talked about that earlier, yeah.
Right. As we discussed, these are those predetermined releases of locked tokens. Highlighting upcoming supply expansions is crucial. These scheduled releases, especially the big ones, can significantly affect price just by increasing the circulating supply.
Right.
Any major unlock events could trigger significant volatility. So knowing when they're coming, how big they are, that's essential for understanding potential price pressure points. And that info is usually in the white paper or investor documents if they're public.
And of course, the elephant in the room, the political element.
Indeed. We'll need to closely observe the correlation with political events. Will WLFI's price pump or dump in direct response to, say, major Trump family news cycles, political speeches, policy announcements, broader political developments. If its price movements are strongly correlated with political events, that offers crucial insight into its true nature. Is it primarily functioning as a political meme coin?
Yeah.
Driven by sentiment, headlines, ideological alignment?
Oh.
Or is it evolving into a more independent financial asset, one whose value is increasingly decoupled from the daily political drama, driven instead by its actual utility, its adoption? This will be a fascinating, ongoing data point. It can tell us if it's really a financial instrument that just happens to have political branding, or if it's more of a political instrument using financial branding. A subtle but important difference.
What an incredible deep dive this has been. Wow, we've really covered a lot of ground from, the unprecedented nature of a political family launching a $30 billion plus crypto token.
Yeah, it's still staggering to say.
To its immediate far-reaching impact on legitimizing crypto in the mainstream. And the unique dynamics it presents for both new retail investors and seasoned traders. We also delved into those broader implications. Accelerated regulation, the ongoing evolution of the Web3 ecosystem. It's truly a moment that kind of redefines what we thought was possible in the digital asset space, blending worlds that felt entirely separate before.
This deep dive has meticulously shown, I think, how WLFI represents this unique convergence.
Yeah.
Immense political brand power, massive speculative finance, and the ongoing rapid evolution of digital assets.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront entirely new questions about how value is created, what utility really means, how influence is wielded in this decentralized world.
Right.
And understanding this event hopefully helps you, our listener, grasp this evolving landscape where politics, celebrity, finance, they're increasingly intertwined with these decentralized technologies.
Yeah.
It helps you prepare for similar things in the future because they are undoubtedly on the horizon, allowing you to maybe anticipate trends, make more informed decisions.
That's perfectly said. And as we close out this deep dive, here's maybe a thought-provoking question for you to mull over. Considering the sheer power of brand of political affiliation that we've seen at play here, how does the success or the failure of WLFI ultimately redefine what utility truly means in the Web3 space? Especially when that utility might be so deeply intertwined with political narrative rather than pure technological innovation or, functional application. What happens when the brand is the utility?
It's a question that will undoubtedly shape the future of digital assets and how we evaluate them going forward. Critical thinking, as always, is key in navigating this information-rich, rapidly changing world. Stay curious.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into WLFI. We hope you feel more informed, more engaged, and better equipped to keep exploring and critically thinking about these complex topics. We truly appreciate you spending your time with us.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll catch you on the next one.